Today's date is Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026. Sorry for the fan noise in the background. I just got out of the shower and I'm very hot, so you're just going to have to deal with it. I am reviewing the winning trade I took full TP hit on the S&P 500. Let's review. Let's get into it. I'll show you the live executions at the very end of where exactly I placed them, or my orders got filled. Where do we start? Market opens here. Market opened. Let's drop down to the 1 minute so we can get a better visual of what exactly happened. Market opened. ES took out these highs. I was very bearish. I could not get an entry though with these Asian lows right here. I did not want to enter, and these Asian lows get hit, and that rally us up. So I was looking for shorts, but these Asian lows, it was just way too close, a little too cramped. From then, market just dumps. No trade to the downside for me. Once liquidity starts getting grabbed, I'm no longer looking to trade that in that direction. For example, liquidity was getting grabbed all to the downside. Sell side liquidity specifically. This. I'm no longer looking for shorts. Until certain things happen, which I'll get into in a second. I'm not looking for shorts. I was looking for longs right here. I really wanted to take this long trade right here. I was looking hard at this long trade. My finger was right over the buy button. I really wanted this long trade here. Let's get into why I didn't take this. Wrong direction. I always do that because the Gann box and the fib are opposite. Not specifically exactly at this price point, maybe a few ticks lower, but roughly. My first TP would have been 0.786 on the extension, on the fib, and I don't like that. When I take trades opposite of the trend direction, I want first take profit and stops to break even at equilibrium, like I did yesterday and lost the trade. I'm fine with yesterday's loss. Like I did yesterday, first TP equilibrium, stops to break even. I couldn't take that. I couldn't do this, and in good conscience, everything was in a downtrend. 4 hour, 1 hour on both of them. So I couldn't take this to the upside. My heart wouldn't let me do it. If I could have targeted the midpoint of that fib, then I would have probably. The difference between today's trade and yesterday's trade is yesterday's trade I took opposite of trend direction. TP1 was equilibrium of that trend, and we were more bearish on ES and inside a bearish fair value gap on ES. Even though general market trend on the 4 hour was bullish, we were in a 4 hour bearish fair value gap. So that's why I took the trade yesterday. I didn't take the trade today, even though they both would have been losers. Look back at May. I hit my best trading day ever taking a trade like that. So I don't want to hear it. Let's get into specifically why I took this trade, what I was nervous about, etc. This trade I took was later in the session, and I specifically wanted to take it off the 5 minute. The later into the session, the more I am trying to move away from taking stuff on the lower time frame and move into taking it on the higher time frames. The highest time frame I trade off of is the 5 minute, but I like to scale that into because as you get later into the session, the 1 minute candles start to get smaller, meaning more action happens on the 1 minute. Like look how big these 1 minutes are. Free game. The experienced traders don't need to hear this, but look how big these 1 minute candles are, and then go into later into the session. Look how small and choppy these are. Stay away from that. Personally, for me, when I get later into the session, ES excuse me, NASDAQ came up, filled equilibrium, 4 hour, 1 hour. ES stayed below these lows. Didn't, not below any lows, didn't hit equilibrium. You can see, I don't actually even know where it was. Maybe here on the 1 hour. Did not hit equilibrium and left this bullish fair value gap. I was nervous about that. I can't lie. And displacement wasn't too strong on ES specifically. NQ, much better displacement, especially when you drop down to the 1 minute. I know I said don't, but I still use it to kind of look at displacement and whatnot. So displacement was a little better here. Broke market structure here. And just overall very bearish, even though these lows, let me zoom out to the 15 so you can see. Even though these lows got hit, let's, this will help. This will help. Look at these lows, and this is a daily fair value gap, by the way. I'm not going to zoom out to the daily, but that's what it is. This is a daily fair value gap. So I was like, once I saw this, I was bullish up until equilibrium of that trend, then returned back bearish. Basically, all today, I predicted exactly where price wants to go. Market open, hit the highs. I wanted it to hit these lows. I wanted it to come back up and fill equilibrium. I almost took a trade, didn't because RR was too poor. And I was targeting too late into the trend, too high into this trend. Then I wanted shorts once we hit equilibrium, 1 hour equilibrium specifically of this trend. So when you see this, I do not think this is different. This is different. When you look at NASDAQ, this is telling something completely different than ES. This is saying long. This is saying I just barely swept these lows right here. I have a daily fair value gap, and I didn't tap these lows right here. Let's get rid of this. And I didn't tap these lows, making this kind of leaving relative equal lows right here. Okay? Let's add that fair value gap back. So 5 minute, the worst thing about this was this big gap right here. 5 minute market structure break. Let's play this out a little bit. Came this candle close. I waited for a retrace to hit equilibrium of that trend, of this 5 minute downtrend that just broke. Gets filled right here. Wait for a continuation. Continuation right here. Once this closes extremely bearish of this uptrend, of this up candle, close right below these, it didn't close below this low, but 79%, yada. I'm not going to get too specific into my strategy. Stops below these highs. Like I said, I kind of wish this was displaced a little more. These are kind of too equal, too close together. I like to see strong, sharp moves. Then I shorted. First TP was here. Second TP was beginning of this fair value gap. Final TP was here. Let me show you the real executions. Oh, and of course the execution labels are not here. Nice. Every time I do this, man. Every time I do this, it doesn't work. Every time I do that. And what? The execution labels aren't even showing up. TradingView has really been acting up recently. You know what? It's because we're in replay. Look at that. You got to hit it like 4 or 5 times before it shows up. They need to get their stuff together. Yesterday, if you noticed that really weird wick on ES, yeah, sold 21 here. Exactly at what? Sold 20 here. 7587.75. Stops here. TP1, TP2, TP3, TP3. You can do the math on that. Yeah, that is the trade I took. That concludes this trade. Spent a little longer talking about this trade, exactly what I was thinking throughout the market. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing that. No one ever watches these anyways. If you do watch this and you do make it this far, which will be no one, drop a comment maybe. Tell me if you like this. I don't know. Have a good one.